But if you are stuck in any point, if the thing is not understandable, please stop me and ask me question. Okay. So the topic should be starting. I'll be starting the topic from subquery. MySQL, the same table I'll be working. So the simplest TQL statement is select star from employee table. Let's view the data once more.
ఏడున్నో గాయమైపోయినావు.
Sorry. Someone is telling something. Okay, I assume it's
No.
noise. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, my mic was unmute. Sorry.
No issue, no issue. So this is the data inside the table on top of which we have worked in last day's SQL part. The same table I'll be working for today's session too. So the table consists some employee related information from an industry. So you can see employee ID is there, employee first name is there, employee last name, experience, salary, department, various department are there. So in the last working day, we have started the filtering part based on multiple departments. And date of birth of the employees are there, which is in date format. And a quick recap. So each of the columns should be having their own data type. You can see in the left hand panel, this is the employee table's definition. Various columns are there. The same column, it's been written over here. If I just select the table, all the definition should be coming over here. So each of the columns data types have been mentioned. Employee ID should be integer in nature. So whatever data I'll be inserting, it should maintain this data type. It must maintain actually. If I am just going to insert a wrong data type into the same table, suppose in employee ID, it's mentioned as integer data type. So whatever data I'll be inserting, it should be integer always. If someday I am pushing any varchar data inside it, varchar means string data type. If I'm just going to push any string data type inside the table, it should throw the error. So that kind of thing we have already covered. So just basic knowledge. So DOB is a date of birth, column, it's having date data type. Okay. Okay. Now, what is subquery? Subquery means, okay, let me just show you with an example. Suppose you have a question. So who is the maximum experienced person in this data set? From this data set, I can clearly see 20. Okay. 20 means that Shantu Datta, he will be recognized as a maximum experienced employee in this data set. But I can see it over here. But suppose I have thousands of records, then how I can do that? I can do this thing as well. I can just go ahead, select star from employee. The same way we have done order by experience descending in nature that we have covered in last working day. Order by clause to sort the data. I'm doing a order by on top of experience, which is descending in nature. If I just run it, I can see it's been sorted and it is coming at the top because this is the maximum experience salary. But my requirement is not just like this. My requirement is we just need only the single record. This one should be reflected at the output. So I need to impose some filter which will give us output only this single row. Okay. How to do that? How to do that? Let's do this way. Select star from, okay, just get select maximum experience. That thing we have also done in last class. Okay. It's 20. Then I'm putting another query, putting this filter whose experience is 20. So first I'm getting the maximum experience from the entire table. When I received it, then I'm doing a simple select query, putting a filter, sorry, not whose, it's a high level language where experience, it's a filter equal 20. Okay, so this is the output I just required. I have done this thing by two steps. First steps, I have recognized the maximum experience available in the table. And in the second query, I am putting the same experience in a filtering condition, the where filter. Both of the things we have covered in last day. Just we are doing this thing separately, getting output from one table, pushing it to as an input of the second query. Instead of doing that, if I just put where experience, just put in, because in is required over here for some reason. Let me show you, then I'll tell. I'm cutting this entire query. Let me put in, otherwise you will not be able to understand. Instead of passing 20, I'm passing the entire query which I ran last time. So I can pass this kind of query inside another query, but I just need to maintain proper base to understand this query part. This is called subquery. So select star from employee where experience in, it's taking data I need to put in, because generally in these cases, maximum, if the query output is multiple time, I have shown you that in should be selected in where clause. Okay. So if you put equal, sometimes it should not work. Let me check whether it's working or not. Yeah, for this time, as this query output is only one, that is why equal is working. But best practice is when using this kind of subquery as a filter condition, put in. Okay. So what we are doing over here, we are just selecting the data, and in the filtering part, I'm taking the input from another query. If I just only run this query, it should also work. Just select it, run it, it's 20, and the entire query is returning the entire value, because this is the output of this table, but I'm only imposing this filter over here. Okay, so this concept is called subquery. It's clear to everyone? Ramya, this is clear, subquery concept?
Yeah, yeah,
Everyone?
it is clear.
If there is any stuck point, please do ask me question, because I'll be going to cover another important concept on top of subquery. Okay, I hope it's clear for everyone. So the important concept is, the last session we have covered the aggregation. If you can quickly remember, while using aggregation, I told a new filtering clause called having. So I think you can quickly remember that topic. So that day I told, let me show you. Select star from employee. Let's do some aggregation. Suppose let's aggregate it. average of salary for each of the department. Okay, group by DPT. Okay, so I just this thing we have already covered in last session. We are just doing each department what is the average salary. Then let's use a having clause. Okay, I want to see the average salary whose average salary is more than 1 lakhs or greater than equal to 1 lakhs. Just put average salary greater than equal 1 lakh. Okay. Okay. First of all, my question is I'm just trying to filtering out those records. I'll be just want to see the records whose average salary is more than 1 lakhs. So can I put this filtering clause into a where clause over here? Can I put it? I told this thing last day. If anyone can recall, please tell me whether the query should be running or not. Anyone who attended the last class? If I put this kind of filtering clause, whether it should be working over here or not?
Sorry, uh, your voice was breaking.
My voice is not clear.
Now it is clear.
It's clear. Okay, fine, fine. So my question was, I want to check whose average salary is greater than equal to 1 lakh. So should I put this kind of where clause over here on top of average salary?
So I believe we need to use having function when we use the aggregated functions, right?
Correct. We introduced having function, but should it work the average salary in this statement inside a where clause?
I have no idea.
No, it should not work actually. That is why we introduced having clause. Why it should not be? Because I told last working day, average salary is a aggregation function which we are introducing in this query level. Okay, so that is why average salary should not be working over here. We introduce this kind of thing within having. Okay, now putting having clause, you can see it is working fine. The same thing, why average salary filter is not working over here? Because average salary is a this kind of this is a particular calculative column. You can see that the particular column was not existing in the employee table. That is why we cannot impose this kind of filter in where clause in the same level of filter. But I can use this thing in where clause in the upper level. If we just put this thing in a subquery, let me put this thing in a subquery. On top of this subquery, I'm calling this thing select star from this table again, putting an alias value over here. Select star from this database again. Okay, means whatever output I'll be receiving, it should be working as a table or database. So I'm starting with select star from a table. I need to put an alias name of this table called P. Okay, the same thing is working. Now in the select query, average salary is already getting generated in the previous level. So I can put where clause on top of average salary now. There will be no issue. What is the issue? Invalid use of group function. It should not be. Just let me check quickly. I can alias it. Let me run the internal query. Yeah, it's running fine. Let me run only this query. Yeah, it is also running fine. Now I'll be trying to hard. This thing should be fine. Yeah. So I just alias this name, average salary. So you can see the same thing is working now without a having clause because I'm using this kind of thing as a subquery. Okay. So I'm one step higher. If we just think about hierarchical structure or just like in the previous database, I'm generating this data set with that column and I'm calling this column again. On top of this, I'm putting another select query and I'm fetching these records again. Now, this filter should be working inside a where clause because the particular column is existed. Okay. So that is the difference I'm trying to say. If we just try to impose this kind of filter inside here, inside bracket, then I need to introduce a having clause because the particular column is getting generated in this level of query execution. But where using an outside select query, the column is already getting generated and now I can impose a where clause to filtering it out. The concept is clear to everyone. And why I'm telling this thing? This is another usage of subquery. The query is being used as a subquery over here. It's clear. Anyone please tell me? Okay. Ramya just put a thumbs up. Anyone? Anyone is having any doubt so far? Okay, fine. I hope there is no doubt. So this is how subquery should work. I'm going to set operator.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Someone is telling something. Tell me.
Yeah, I'm just having a small doubt.
Yeah, tell me.
So, can you use where clause and having clause in a single query?
I'm not able to hear your voice
Can we
quite
use
clear. Can
like
you please a bit louder?
yeah? Can we use where clause and having clause at the same time in a single query?
Yeah. We can use where clause and having clause in the same time, but this is a different thing we have discussed in last working day. So if we just discard this thing, I have discarded this bracket. So that thing when to use where clause and when to use having clause. So let me just run this query. So this is, I'm not using a subquery anymore. This is the basic level of query. So when where clause should be used, where clause should be used in the same level of query means what are the existed column in employee, I can impose the where clause on top of this column only. So what are the existed employee column? I can see only department is a column. So I can filter some of the department. Suppose I want to see the department not equal IT. So I'm putting where clause over here. So first of all, it's discarding IT and it will be returning as the value. Okay. Okay, you can see. So I have used a where clause over here. So where should be filtering this thing out and printing as the result. And taking this data, I have grouped it. On top of this, I can put another having clause. Having clause over here should be working as, it should be working on top of this aggregated column. Okay, this way we have filtered out the ITs. Then I have tried this having clause. Having should be working on top of this newly generated column, and IT, this should be working as already existed column. So this is the difference between this, and this is the usage that you mentioned. We can use this kind of two things in a single statement, but always we need to remember the use cases, when to use having, when to use where. Okay, the same condition I can use on if I use this thing as a subquery that I showed in the beginning. Okay, the question is clear, Srikar? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
concept is clear.
got
Okay,
it.
fine. Now, one of the important thing is set operator in SQL. In set operator, we in set theory we learned the union, union all, intersection. So this kind of thing is we can also check it over here. Okay, I can see sometimes my internet is unstable. Maybe for the same reason my voice will maybe a bit breaking. Please tell me if this kind of thing is occurring. I'll be just quickly repeating my words again. So before starting with set operator, I'll be quickly covering this thing. Create table from another table. This is a combination of DDL statement and DQL statement. I'll be creating one table from another table. It's not the conventional DDL statement that we generally do. Create table, table name, multiple column names, just like this. Instead of doing that, there is already a generated table is there. I'll be creating a table from this table. How to do that? Let me show this thing by an example. Suppose I'll be creating a table called employee underscore one. Okay. I do not have to put the entire column names and their data type. What we have learned in the last, DDL creation statement. Rather doing that, I can get reference from this table. There is already a pre-existing table called employee. So I can just put as keyword, create table, table name as select star from employee table. Okay, let me run this query. Let me refresh the database. You can see a new table has been generated called employee one, and it should be same data types of, same column number, same data type, which employee table was having. Okay. So you can see all those columns are available with the data types and all. So, and you can see the data are same as well. Let me just put a select star from the new table employee underscore one. You can see that the same data are available over here. Okay. Now let's go ahead with some manipulation. So whatever I'll be selecting in this database, I just put the create statement over here. So from it will be taking data from this data set and it will be creating the new table in this manner. Okay, fine. So let's create another table with imposing some filter. Suppose I'll be creating IT related employees. So, sorry, uh, create table. Let me just choose the same statement again and I'll be modifying something. Create table employee underscore IT as select star from employee where department equal IT. Let's quickly run this query only. So I'm just creating this data set. Okay. On top of this data set, I'm running this create statement means the new table employee underscore IT should be created with this data set only, the output of this data set. Let's run it. Yeah, it's executed successfully. So you can see a new table has been created. In this table, the columns set are same, but you can see if we just put a select query on top of this IT table, only IT related department should be available. Okay. Okay. So the same way, let me create another table called BPO. As select star from. Okay. So I have created two different tables from the employee data set in the data set from employee tables. Why I have created these two tables? Because this table will be required while learning union. Okay. So employee BPO table is having two records. Their departments are mentioned as BPO, and the IT tables having three records. Their departments are mentioned as IT. Okay. Any doubt so far? Because we learned a new topic called create table from another table. So this is not the conventional way of creating the table. This kind of table creation is generally required for backup creation. Suppose I'll be working on top of a table. This is already on, I mean, it's a live table. I'll be doing new development on an existing table. While doing this kind of operation, generally in development region, we used to take a backup of existing table. So anything is happened with the newly created tables development part, we can quickly try to revert back to the previous instance. So that is why we use this kind of thing. Okay. So generally we do this backup creation part by this kind of statement. Backup of table creation part by this kind of statement. Okay. So as of now, I have created these two table. It's a subset of employee table, both of the table. Those are subset in data set from this employee table. Let's learn the set operator part now. Set operator means in the set theory, we have learned about union clause, union all clause. If you can quickly remember, if we do union between two different sets, the data should be union. The data should be merged between two tables. So how to check it? We can check the same thing in our table data set as well. So select star from employee IT. I am putting a union clause. Okay. Select star from employee IT. Union. Select star from employee BPO. So what is the resultant data set? You can see the particular, this table is having three records and this table is having two records. All of the things are getting merged over here in the resultant data set. Okay. If we put union all, we cannot able to find any difference between union all and union in this statement. But there is a difference between union all and union. I'll be quickly telling this thing. Just to giving you the example, we cannot see any difference between union and union all in this example. Okay. Let's try with intersection. Okay, intersect is the keyword. Sorry. Okay, intersection, those particular two table doesn't have any common records. That is why the intersection is not working properly. Okay. Intersection should be always, it should be returning the common data between the same data set. So intersection keyword is returning 0 records as we do not have any common records between the data set. Let's try the same example with the main table. Okay, I'm doing employee IT. I'm doing the intersection between employee IT and employee table. We can find some intersection record because employee table should be having the whole data set and employee IT should be having the IT related departments records available on top of this. So if we do the intersection, the always the common record should be the IT related employees record. And in the intersection, I'm only getting this output. Okay. Let's try with union and union all over here. Let's put union all first. So union all, it's returning the data from this table first, this 3 record, then it's returning the entire data set of this table. So you can see the first 3 IT records are there from the first table and it's the last records are coming from, last record means starting from this record to the last record, it's coming from the second data set called employee. Okay. So here we can see one thing. This record and this record are duplicated in nature. Even this record and these records are duplicated in nature because this record is coming from the first data set as well as the another record of similar, the similar record is coming from the second data set as well. So while doing the union all clause, while doing the union all, it should simply merge the entire data set. It will not check any duplication. There is any duplication thing is occurring or not. So that is why union is been introduced. If we use union, it will be merging the data as well as it will be checking whether any duplication is appearing there. So you can see the first 3 records are coming from this table. After that, it's also picking up the records from this table. If it is able to find any duplication records, it will be discarding the same. Okay. So this is the difference between union and union all. Union all will not remove any duplicates. It will simply merging the data set between two or multiple. I can put another table over here. Union, I can operate between multiple tables. Any number of tables I can do union, union all or intersection, this kind of set operator. But one more constraint is there. The tables between which I'm imposing the union or intersection, all the tables should be having same number of columns. Okay. Otherwise the union should fail. Even we try to have the same kind of data between the two tables, that is why we need to do the union. Suppose we have same number of columns, but there are different data types between each of the columns. That is acceptable, but the resultant data set should be having meaningless of data. So generally we do union or intersection if we have similar kind of data between each of the data sets, similar number of columns, similar kind of data as well. Okay. So this is how the set theory should be working over here. It's clear for everyone? Ramya, is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the exercise union, in the same assignment, actually when the cases of merging the thing should be coming, we will be checking, we should be having the union. We have to do the union thing over there. Okay. The next topic is join, which is one of the most important thing in relational database. Okay. So how to do the joining part? Okay. Before starting with joining in the SQL, I have prepared an Excel to learn the join. Okay. Those who are totally new in IT fields or just like this, I mean, you are trying to see the join. So join is one of the most important thing to learn. So I have a quick example over here for the joining stuffs. So we have two different tables. So when to join, where to join, we have showed this thing in relational DB. To join between multiple tables, we should be having a common column. Okay, just like in the previous, I mean, the first is example, we have order table and product table. Between that table, maybe we have product ID is a common column name there. So based on that product ID, we can join multiple tables. I mean that those two tables to carry all the data in a single data set or all the columns in a single data set. Okay, over here I am putting another example. We have the table consisting employee ID and employee age. We have another table is having employee ID and employee designation. Okay. So employee ID is a common column between each of the data set, you can see. And over here, a column is their employee age and another column is having designation. Suppose I want to see in a single table, all the columns should be present. Okay. I want to set a correlation between employee age and employee designation. This kind of thing. So to do this kind of operation, I need to join. So while doing the union operation, you can see union, we are just merging all the records vertically. While doing joins, we'll be merging the tables horizontally. Specifically, we are pulling columns from different tables and we are creating a resultant data set having all the columns in a single table or the required columns in a single table. Maybe I do not require all the columns from each of the table. Whatever columns required at the resultant data set, I'll be pulling only those columns. Okay. So this is the purpose of join. Okay. So this is the purpose of join, and join should be having multiple types. So in this example, I'm going ahead with inner join. Inner join means
Hey,
if I
Sophie, we can't
yeah.
hear you if you're.
Okay, is it fine now? Is it fine now? Ramya, am I audible properly now?
It is okay, like it is breaking in.
Okay, sometimes the internet
Yeah, now it
connection
is
and
fine.
stability, it's not fine over here. Okay. So yeah, please stop me this kind of scenario. As I just for this week for some medication purpose, I traveled in a different city. So that is why the internet connection sometimes it's unstable. Please tell me at that point of instance. I'll be trying to repeating myself. But I'm trying to stable this thing as soon as possible. This kind of internet connections and all. Okay, fine.
Sure,
Thank you for
no worries.
cooperating. Yeah. But in the next week, I'll be just, going to my home location again. So everything should be back in the same way what we have started. Okay, fine. So in this example, the first words I have told, we have two different data set and we tried to having employee age and designation in a single data set, single resultant data set. So for doing that, we have used the two examples I have used over here. There are two kinds of joins actually. One is called inner join, another one is called outer join. Okay. Inner join should be okay. Let me just check we have any another. Okay. Over here I have the better data set to understand. Those are the same data set actually. Give me some second. Okay. Faculty ID, it's not required as of now. Okay. So over here, the similar kind of thing, but the only difference is this column name is different. Although those are consisting the same data, but the column name is different. Over here, employee ID is there. Over here, only ID is mentioned. There will be no need to worry. Just we need to identify what is the common column. So I can join between this common column and I can pull employee age and designation from this data set and merge those things in a single data set. This is the resultant data set if we can go ahead with inner join. Okay. So what I'm mentioning join can be of two types. It's called inner join and outer join. Inner join means it will be checking for the common records. If we just go ahead with inner join, and if we simply put join in the SQL statement, by default, it should be inner join in nature. Okay. We can put simple join statement or inner join. They will be doing only the inner join. They will be checking for when we'll be doing the joining stuffs on based on employee ID and ID. It will be checking for the common records. Over here, you can see the first data set, it's having three different records, 1, 2, 3. Over here, 1, 2, 4. Between this 3 and this 3, the common records are this 1, 2, 1, 2. So if we just join between these two data set based on employee ID and ID, only the common record should be pulling. So 1, 2, employee ID 1, 2 should be pulling and employee age, the corresponding employee age of this and corresponding designation of those employee IDs should be coming in the resultant data set. This is called inner join. By default, if we just simply put join statement, it should be performing only inner join part. Okay. Inside outer join, we should be having left outer join, right outer join, cross join. Okay. This kind of separate joining thing are there in outer join. We can tell left outer join or left join. Anything is appropriate. In the SQL syntaxes as well, we can use left join keyword or we can put left outer join as well. So what is the functionality of this? Let's quickly check. Left outer join or left join means while declaring or doing operation of this kind of left join and right outer join, we need to mention one of those table as left table, one of those tables as right table. So as per the pictorial convention, this is my left table. I'm taking this thing as left table, and uh, this is my right table. Okay. While performing the same kind of operation in SQL, I'll be telling you what is left table and what is right table, how to declare it. We will be quickly checking on that steps when performing the same thing in SQL. As of now, let's see how it works. So in left table, or I mean left join, I think the voice should be, I think the voice should be break. I think it's fine now. Okay. So in the left join, you can see it should be taking the standardized value from left table. That means all the records should be coming from the left table. And from the right table, we should be having the matching records from left table. So as we are joining based on employee ID, but it's a left join, all the records from left join, I mean left table, it's 1, 2, 3 coming over here. And from right table, the matching records, that means 1, 2 is coming over here. From the right table, we are picking up only designation. So data scientist and senior managers are coming. And for analyst, for employee ID 3, it's not mentioned over here. That is why it's populating null value. Okay, you are getting some noise over here at my background. Not sure. Okay, similar kind
Now
of
it
thing.
is clear.
It's noisy. Okay, so left join is this. We will be taking into consideration the left table and right table. Left one should be the standardized one. Based on this thing, I have to check which are matched. The matched one, I mean, we are picking up only designation column from the second table. So from the matched IDs only, I can pull the designation value, and the unmatched one should be returning null. Similar kind of thing I can see in the right join as well. In the right join, you can see right table should be the standardized table. So I'll be pulling all the employee IDs from the right table first. Okay. And employee age should be coming from the first table, that is my left table. As my standardized table is the second table, that is the designation table, I'll be pulling all the records from here. And employee age, the referring one which are matching, only pulling it over here, but the unmatched will not be pulled. That means 350, employee ID 3 having age 50, it should not be reflecting over here. Okay, so it's coming null. Just the main difference is left join, we have to took the standardized table is the left table, and while doing the right join, the standard table is the right table. Okay. There is another join, full outer join. I haven't mentioned it. While doing full outer join, or full join, the data set should be this. I'll be inserting one more records over here. So full outer, all the records should be full. This record should be there as well. And employee ID 4, this record should be also available over here too. This thing is clear. This is called full outer. No one should be the standardized one. Okay. Or we can tell is full join or full outer join. And cross join, let's put this thing is employee ID. There's the thing should be clear to you. Okay. This thing is clear for everyone till now. The joining concept. Then the next topic, the SQL implementation, I'll be touching in tomorrow's session.
Hey, Satvik. So, can we use the union instead of outer join?
Can you use union instead of
Outer join?
outer join? No, no. Union will, if we just do union, okay, this is two different scenarios actually. When to use union, generally we have another data set, similar kind of data set over here too with different employee ID. Suppose 4, 5, 6. Over here I can put suppose BPO, not BPO actually, manager. This should be designation obviously. And over here let me put
Yeah, I
some
got what you're saying.
expert. So I can do union on top of this thing only. So as I mentioned, while doing union, we just need to check whether those are having the same data because it should be pushed vertically. So when we'll be doing union, all these 3 records should be simply merged over here. So in the new table, we should be having total 6 records. Okay. But join means we have to create the new resultant data set, pulling the columns from different data sets. It's merging, horizontally. Okay, Ramya, is it clear or not clear?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, fine. Okay. The next day I'll be just preparing those table data set over here before starting the session. I'll be creating those data set over here, these 2 data set. And whatever I have performed over here, the similar kind of thing I'll be performing in SQL statement. And I'll be also starting with few more examples, this kind of Excel examples, because join is one of the important concept in the relational database. Join is there, that is why relational database should be there. Because as I mentioned that we are segregating the columns based on foreign key, primary key, and we are joining those things based on those IDs columns. If the join doesn't exist, then there is no values for segregation of this kind of column. Okay, so let's have some more examples in the next day, maybe tomorrow. And on top of this example, I'll be creating SQL syntaxes to perform joining operations over here. Okay, so that's all for today. Let's connect tomorrow. And the disturbances may be some network issue over here. I'll be trying to rectify this thing, but maybe for this week, uh, this kind of scenario would be happen, but I'll be trying to minimize it. Okay. So, but if there is any stuck point or anything, please stop me and ask me questions. Thanks everyone. Bye bye. Let's connect tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.